was invited here by the woman who had discovered Round Top, Hazel Ledbetter. She bought a farm up here, and she got Ima Hogg, the great Texas philanthropist, and Faith Bybee, and all of us up here. And Hazel came to me and said, she'd been to a couple of my shows, and she came to me and she said, please come to Round Top and present a show so people will quit looking in our windows. So I came up, looked at the Rifle Hall, the historical Rifle Hall, you know, so famous because it sponsors the 4th of July parade. That's the oldest 4th of July parade west of the Mississippi. So I came up and I said, well, Hazel, I will bring a show to Round Top at the Rifle Hall if you will open your houses. Well, she was horrified at that, but she did. And I started with the 22 dealers in the Rifle Hall, and it just became gangbusters after that.
Hello, I'm Nick.
And I'm Michelle.
And this is Texas Antiques Week.
And we're going to try and showcase this massive event.
But we won't be doing it alone because with thousands of vendors spread over 6 towns, that'd be impossible.
So we brought along a little help, our trusty Show Daily.
People around here just call it the book.
Show Daily is a biannual magazine published exclusively for the Spring and Fall Antique Show in Round Top, Texas and the surrounding areas. The show is one of the biggest of its kind in the world, with more than 60 different venues populated by thousands of vendors, all run by different people. And since this huge event doesn't have any real central organizing body, Show Daily is really the only thing that chronicles and brings everything together as a whole. Longtime antiques dealer Roberto Alvarado runs the magazine along with his wife Susie.
Show Daily started in 2000, but the idea was born about 4 or 5 years before that. We came this way and happened along Round Top Antiques Week. It was just our lucky day. We saw some signs and we came down 237. Everywhere we looked, there were big tops, tents. And we saw people milling around and said, hey, it looks like an antique show. And what was just going to be passing through, we ended up staying 2 or 3 days.
The big crowds and huge variety of dealers at the show enticed Roberto, but there was just one problem.
Man, they need a map around here. Yeah, we should get a map going here. Heck, we were lost.
And that wasn't just wishful thinking. Roberto and Susie already had plenty of publishing experience producing their Mexican folk art collectors magazine, El Anticuario. So after a few years of taking part in the Texas Antiques Show and learning the lay of the land, they were ready to put out their first map of the different venues.
The inaugural edition was 12 pages, black and white, bond paper, like a little tabloid. And we printed 1,000. It was a need for me. I mean, we needed a map and a guide to tell us, you know, what day this show opens, where can I find this?
It was a modest beginning, but it was and still is the only publication of its kind at the show, and dealers started to take notice.
They were keen to the idea and they bought an ad. I think we sold maybe 30 ads for the next issue. The magazine began to grow and we started, you know, producing more show dailies. Our first print run was 1,000, the second show it was 2,000. The following show was 4,000, and it just kept doubling. We've got 30,000 is our print run now, and it's still not enough.
That's because for the tens of thousands of shoppers who come to the show each year, Show Daily is an indispensable tool. In this one magazine, you'll find information on just about every event and dealer of note at the show.
It's their Bible. The first thing they do when they arrive is they go pick up their Show Daily, and we put it out in the streets, and we don't charge. People take them home. They keep in touch with their pals, their buddies, because they're all in the book. They're all listed in there. It's their directory for 6 months.
With a publication like this, you might be surprised to learn that, aside from a few dedicated individuals who sell ads and distribute the magazine, Show Daily has a pretty small creative staff.
When professional magazine people ask us, how many people do you have in your crew? You know, how many people put this magazine together? How many reporters? How many design editors do you have? You know, it's just, they're amazed that it's only, you know, one person and a half, you know, and that's Susie being one and I'm the other half. It's a lot of work, but it's a lot of satisfaction too. So I think that we've done a good job.
The Texas Antiques Show has been going strong for more than 40 years. Started by Emily Turney in 1967 for just 22 dealers at her site in Round Top, the show has grown bigger than probably anybody ever imagined in those early days.
I did the very first show here in October of '67 as a dealer. And once I was into it, you know, there was no letting go, no going back. It was the best thing that had ever happened. You know, and it was a real sort of a society thing then.
Now during the show, thousands of vendors from all over the world descend upon the sleepy towns of Round Top, Warrenton, Fayetteville, Carmine, Shelby, Burton, and Rudersville, Texas. For most of the year, this rural part of Texas is pretty calm. Round Top has a population of just 77 people. Nearby Burton, well, that's a metropolis by comparison, with 359 residents. But for a couple weeks between March and April, and again in late September, early October, the landscape here is transformed. It takes weeks before each show to get the area ready for the influx of thousands of vendors and their tens of thousands of customers.
We're building structural aluminum frames for an antique show, and this is how we get started. We had to stake down the base plates just to get the foundation going. We build it on the floor, then we use a forklift to pick it straight up. This is one of the biggest ones we got. This should take about 2-3 hours from beginning to end. And that's not including the floor, ACs, and walls.
Once all the tents are ready and the vendors have set up shop, people pour in from all over the country, flooding these small town streets and walking around miles of fields, all in search of that special treasure. Coming up, we'll give you a look at some of the incredible collectibles and antiques available at the show, and have a little fun along the way.